Well, folks, fact of the matter is, um, trickle down economics doesn't work. Republican policies don't work. The longer our country survives, if it is able to survive under a Republican framing, the more clear it is. Link will be in the description. Here is the overlapped. Here's the proof in the form of overlapped charts. Let me explain what this is. In fact, put it ahead of me for a second. That blue line on top, that's the top tax rate. That's how much we charge the richest among us. You'll notice it goes down and down and down and down as time goes on. GDP is that green section on top. That's gross domestic product. That's how much stuff as a country we are producing. That goes up as time goes on. We're getting better and better at making stuff. The red section, that's our national debt. That's how much we have to borrow in order to get by. Now, I will say it's a somewhat deceptive number. Our national debt is a reality, but it's not as dire as Republicans and conservative Democrats would have you believe. But it is going up. It's undeniably consistently going up. Also on the bottom, productivity, that's in the blue line. Steady rise the entire time. A steady rise. Wages, they were rising along with productivity until Reagan in the 80s. And then, truth be told, end of the 70s is when we really saw wages stagnate. What does all this say? Well, as time goes on, the United States is producing more. Specifically, United States workers are producing a lot more. And yet, for some reason, our debt is going up. Even though our productivity is going up and our wages, the pay for that work, is going down, the U.S. is in more and more debt. Why is that? It's because of that gray background monster in the bottom. It's the income of the richest among us. That is where it's all going. Notice it is almost identical to the national debt. They're stealing from America. Look at the productivity. They're stealing from your work. Your wages should have, if not for Reagan and the rest of the Republicans, your wages should have matched that productivity line. You should be making almost twice as much as you are now. And inflation would have been fought because the income of the top 1% never should have changed. Should have stayed at a point where it dipped below what your wages were, so that when you divide up all the 1%, they actually don't have more than hundreds of other people that work for them. That's where we should be. But we got sold on a concept called trickle-down economics in the 80s. The idea that if you give all the breaks to the rich, that money will trickle down to you for some reason. There it is, gang. I'm going to put the link in the description. Just show this to people who for some reason are still operating under the belief that Republicans know anything about economics, or more to the point, care at all about them, their families, any other human beings other than themselves. They don't. They don't like you. They prefer you to be suffering. When they hear that your parents had to skip medication because they couldn't afford it, that makes them happy. They think, good. Peasants are suffering. That's what I'm hearing. Peasants are born to suffer. That's what they think. They think they are your masters. Do not let other people walk around with the impression that they are anything other than that. This needs to be the year we get rid of Republicans. That graph is why. They're killing us.